Hi everyone, today we have a new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about fresh release from Miniart, and it's made in 1/48 scale. We here get the so-called basic kit, so it's P-47N-1RE Thunderbolt. It's the bubble top version, as you can notice here, and it might be interesting for modders who don't need any extra features. They're fine with what you get in the standard plastic from Miniart, and the kit number is 48064, so what you will see in this video review is exactly the same stuff if you order it, for example, from Max. And as you can see, the first thing here is the box art. It's quite nice and bright, and I would say it could be also a good poster as well. And the box size is the same as any other aircraft release from Miniart, so here is comparison with my hand. And also here on the side you can find some information about the manufacturer, some safety advices here. And if I go to the opposite side, here we have the small mention of the decals manufacturer, so they are coming from Cartograph. And also we get two marking options in the basic kit, but I guess this is more than enough for a nice build in 1/48 scale. And this is a top opening box, so let me open it quickly. It's a bit of a tight fit of this top lid because of the thickness of the box, but as you can see, all sprues are actually sealed into one plastic bag. So I'm going to cut through this plastic bag and check what is actually included here and why this kit might be an interesting build for all fans of this famous aircraft. And in the meantime, I can also remind you that I reviewed the previous releases as well, and in case you are interested, you can find them easily on the same YouTube channel. And I have to say that this plastic is really good development from Miniart. So I was doing the comparison with the plastic from Tamiya, which was considered as one of the best before. So now I would say the situation has changed. And in this video, in the comparison, you can actually see why it is now different. So first of all, on the top of the sprue pile, we have here this frame with the fuselage half. This is obviously the left half. As you can see, it is molded together with the tail fin, and in my opinion, it's actually a good parts division. And of course, we have the cowling section molded separately. We have quite generous external features. These include the recessed panel lines and rivets. And here from the opposite side, you can see also some guiding elements which will help you to align these large parts together. And I think this is quite important in this scale because you need to get the proper fitment. And as you can see here, the tail fin section will be also playing some role in the proper connection of those two parts together. But the second one is not too far. Here it is, the right half. Pretty much the same design. Of course, we have here the cutout for this section which will be aligning the tail area, and here inside you can see the large guiding elements, these guiding slots for the guiding pins. Cockpit will be separate, so that's why we do not get anything here. It will be actually another sub-assembly which is inserted in between the fuselage halves. Next, we continue with the sprue A. So here we have the wing halves, and I will just zoom out a bit. So now you can see these wing parts. We have the wing mechanization molded separately, which is good for 1/48 scale. We also have two options for the landing gear legs, so whether with the loaded position or with the full retracted position, so unloaded if we can call it this way. And of course we have the cowling panels which are cut or divided according to the panel lines, which is also quite good. And I think it's worth zooming in so that you can see the external features here. You can notice that it's again the recessed panel lines and rivets, and the same appears on the cowling panels obviously. And here you can compare two types of the landing gear parts. And if I flip over these parts and zoom out, so you can see that the main wheel wells will get also quite generous features, and we also get the leading edge working as the guiding element as well. So this is quite a clever design, and I think it will help you to build the model faster and get a cleaner result, if we can see it this way. Next, we continue here with the landing gear wheels. So again, we get two versions of the landing gear wheels, these main wheels. Also two versions for the tail landing gear wheels. Also we have the legs molded separately, and here we have the machine gun barrels. So if you are looking for the ammo bay in the both wings, this is why you need the advanced kit. In the basic kit you are not getting these features, but I think for some modders this is actually an advantage, because they will be able to focus on the external features instead of spending time on some internals. Next, we continue with the wing mechanization. So here, as I was saying, we have the separate flaps, we have the separate ailerons. Also here we have the landing gear panels. And what is interesting is that this kit allows you to build the model in flight position. So this is really cool. And I think still in 2025, few manufacturers actually do such thing. And I think it's a quite handy feature for the 148 scale set. Next. Sorry. So here we have the various equipment, and also we get another type of the main landing gear wheels. We also have the separate wheel rims. So this is quite a nice variety. Obviously you won't have to use everything at once, and some of these parts will go into a spare parts box. And I think it's really cool thing that Miniart does not try to limit you by pushing you to buy everything separately. You get it included in the kit, and then you are deciding what you will need and what you will just leave aside. Next, we have something interesting here, because we have cockpit parts, and I can see we have two types of the cockpit walls and instrument panel, so you can see them right now. I will show you first this sprue. I think this one, which was originally in the previous versions. I think here we will need the cockpit floor and maybe one of the bulkheads as well. But what we will use in today's version is these parts, which are slightly different if you look carefully on these cockpit walls, but the instrument panels are looking great, and the same can be said about the engine. So I'm really glad that Miniart is actually including the proper engine. It's not just the placeholder, if we can say it this way. You're getting the nicely detailed power plant, and for 148 scale it's a must-have. And otherwise you will have to spend your own money for some aftermarket, even with the closed cooling. And here we continue with the propeller. So as you can see, two blade pairs are connected together, and then you have the frontal section as well, the propeller hub. And here from the opposite side you can see how they are actually fitting. So quite a smart design, and it helps you with the proper alignment as well. Next we have the plastic bag with the clear sprue. I just need to open it quickly, so just give me a second. And while I'm opening it, I can also remind you that if you are not subscribed to this YouTube channel, be sure to subscribe so that you won't miss the new videos. And also it will help me greatly, because obviously the recommendation algorithm is working based on the subscribers as well. But what we have here is the two-piece canopy. So as you can see, this is the main section, and if you wonder where is the windscreen, so here it is. And it's also molded nicely, but as you can see, due to the packaging, it broke off. It's not damaged, but it was flying around in the plastic bag, and that's why it's actually packed into a separate bag, so that you don't lose the parts if something happens. Next, we also have more parts for the engine, so here you can see them. And one more plastic sprue is quite large, I would say, in comparison with what we saw before, but I'm not sure which parts we will need from here. Probably some of the cockpit bulkheads, probably also the tail wings, some of the cooling flaps for the engine, and maybe this rudder. But everything is detailed quite nicely, and I think it's just a matter of careful installation. And you can notice that even with the standard parts, you're getting a lot of internal stuff like cockpit, engine, and I think it's a shame to hide all of this stuff inside. And I think with the bubble top, actually, you get the benefit that even with the closed canopy, the cockpit will be visible. But with the engine, it's a bit more tricky. So if you are able to do the removable coating by not gluing it into the place, this might be an option, but this is already your decision. What is interesting here is that assembly manual and decals are packed into the separate plastic bag. By the way, there are no P parts here because this is a basic set. But for the decals, as you remember, we are getting them from cartograph, so that's why you shouldn't be worried about any quality issues. And here you can see them. We also have some cockpit decals. So I guess for some models this will be more than enough for the build. And I think these decals are looking quite good actually. And next we have assembly manual. So here it is. Let's zoom out a bit. Color printed brochure, by the way. And on the first page on the cover we have the short list of the features. Next, we have the parts map. Keep in mind that Miniart does not show unused parts, so that's why in some cases you have the, let's say, double sets of parts, for example, landing gear wheels, and it's a good idea to pay attention which ones you have to use actually. And as you can see, everything begins with the cockpit assembly, then you continue with the fuselage. And it's not a difficult process, but I think it will take some planning because some parts should be pre-painted in advance. Also, you have to decide whether you are replicating in flight position or you are replicating the parked position with the landing gear out. Also, you will have to choose the landing gear legs, whether you need the loaded version or not. By the way, here you can see the difference between in flight and also parked landed position. We also have the armaments, so various drop tanks and bombs. And as you can see, you can install them, you can leave them aside, it's already your decision. We also have the stenciling guide, and it looks like it's plenty of work to do, but in 1/48 scale it's always a worthy activity, I would say. Here we have also the aircraft from summer 1945, and one more is another aircraft from summer 1995, and we have really interesting nose arts here, so I think both will be cool to replicate. And here you have the marking guide for the armament, and also the colors chart, which is in several manufacturer designations, so that's also a handy thing. But overall, I think it's a good purchase for all aviation fans. You get almost all features which you need in aircraft build. In the standard package, you don't have to go for the aftermarket. And of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion about such a release. Write it here in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye.